Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video we are going to learn unit 1 and unit 2 of The Legend Behind a Legend, and the writer of this prose is Hariharan Balakrishnan. Now let us read introducing the author. Hariharan Balakrishna is a writer and columnist. This article was published in the literary page of The Hindu on 22nd January 2006. Unit 1 Warm Up. A legend is a story or a narrative about a very famous person. People are also referred to as legends if they have been unusually successful in their own fields of work. The title mentions two legends. Who are the two legends mentioned in this unit? Why are they termed legends? What did the author plan to do when he came to know about the two? Read the following unit of the text to find out the answers. The text. Khairi made the entire forest where she lived famous. She was not a bandit queen but Khairi, the tigress of Jashipur. It was exactly 25 years ago when I spent 2 days and 2 nights with Khairi and the Minegri of Saroj and Nihar. I had read a small news item in the Statesman about the latest exploits of domesticated tigress in the Simlipal forest of Odisha. So Khairi made the entire forest famous. She was not a bandit queen. Bandit queen means queen of the robbers. But she was Khairi, the tigress of Jashipur. It was exactly 25 years ago when the narrator spent 2 days and 2 nights with Khairi and the Minegri. Minegri means a small kind of zoo or a collection of wild animals. He had read a small news item in the Statesman that the domesticated tigress in Simlipal, uh, Simlipal forest of Odisha, that is Khairi, is being used for some advantage. Suddenly, it struck to me that this was happening in my own state. I thought, why not attempt to experience it myself? I spoke to N.S. Iyengar, a senior journalist in Barampur, and a few other elders. I was told that Khairi was under the care of a rather gruff and tough man called Saroj Raj Chaudhary, who brooked no nonsense and suffered no fools. So suddenly, it struck to the narrator's mind that this all was happening in his own state. He thought to attempt to experience it. So he spoke to N.S. Iyengar, a senior journalist in Barampur, and few of his elders. The author was told that Khairi was under the care of a gruff and tough man named Saroj Raj Chaudhary, who only tolerate important and necessary things and do not tolerate unnecessary things. I got his address and wrote asking if I could visit him. For good measure, I referred to a itinerant articles I had written for Indian magazines. It was a shot in the dark, and I did not expect to hear from him. But to my utter delight, I got a letter within a week inviting me to Khairi Jashipur, giving precise instruction about how to reach there. Mr. Chaudhary also asked me to let him know in advance how and when I was reaching. I gave him a date and said I would be taking a bus from Bhubaneswar on a particular night. So finally the narrator got Saroj Raj Chaudhary's address and wrote asking if he could visit him. For good measure he referred to few itinerant articles. Itinerant means travel related articles. He was not expecting a reply letter from Saroj Raj Chaudhary, and this was a shot in the dark. To his utter delight, he got a letter within a week inviting him to Khairi Jashipur. Finally, he also gave precise instruction. Precise means exact instruction about how to reach there. Mr. Chaudhary also asked the narrator to let him know in advance how and when he was reaching there. Then the narrator gave him a date and said that he would be taking a bus from Bhubaneswar on a particular night. Unit 2 Warm Up. How did the author reach Khairi Jashipur? How was his welcome at Mr. Chaudhary's house? How did Khairi greet the author? Read the following unit of the text for the details. The text. I packed my bag, took the train, and boarded the overcrowded bus from Bhubaneswar. I arrived sometime before 4 a.m., wondering where to go in that semi darkness. To my utter surprise, within a minute there was a click of boots and a voice welcoming me to Khairi Jashipur. The forest guard, detailed to escort me, took me to the guest house, put me in my room, assured that water was in the jug. I could sleep as long as I wanted, and Saab would see me as soon as I was ready. So the narrator packed up his bag, he took the train and boarded the overcrowded bus from Bhubaneswar. He arrived sometime before 4 a.m., wandering. Wandering means searching where to go in that semi darkness. To his utter surprise, within a minute there was a click of boots and a voice welcoming him to Khairi Jashipur. The forest guard detailed to escort means guide him and took the narrator to the guest house. He put him into his room and informed him that the water was in the jug. The bearer also said that the narrator that he could sleep as much as he wanted, and Saab, here Saab means Mr. Chaudhry or Saroja Chaudhry, would see the narrator as soon as he was ready. I had an hour of blissful sleep. I woke up with a start when I heard the unmistakable voice of the tiger just outside my door. I was terror struck. Within a minute a bearer came to the room with hot tea and biscuits. He smiled at the expression on my face and assured me that it was only Khairi outside the door making friendly enquiries about the new guest in the house. I finished my tea, had a quick shower, and went to the main house. So the narrator had an hour of blissful sleep. Blissful means peaceful. He had an hour of peaceful sleep. Then he woke up with a start when he heard the unmistakable. Unmistakable means obvious or very clear voice of the tiger just outside his door. When the narrator heard the voice of the tiger, he was terror struck, means he was very furious and afraid. Within minutes, a bearer came to the room with hot tea and biscuits. After seeing the expression of the narrator, the bearer smiled at him and said that it was only Khairi outside the door who was making friendly enquiries about the new guest in the house. Then he finished his tea and had a quick shower and went to the main house. Saroja Chaudhary was sitting on a large chair. There was a sloth bear behind him, holding onto his waist and making gargling sounds. He said, "Get down, Jumbo, get down," and rose to greet me. A frail man in his 50s, slightly balding on the top. We got talking. I didn't find a gruff and rough, no nonsense man. What I found was one of the most human beings I have ever met in my life. So when he entered the main house, there he saw that Saroja Chaudhary was sitting on a large chair. There was a sloth bear. Sloth bear means lazy bear behind Mr. Chaudhary, and he was holding on to Mr. Chaudhary's waist, and the bear was making the gargling sounds. Then Mr. Chaudhary said the bear that get down, Jumbo, get down, and then he rose to greet the narrator. Mr. Chaudhary was a frail man. Frail means weak, in his 50s and slightly balding on the top. Then they both started talking. Before visiting to Mr. Chaudhary, the narrator was said that he was a gruff and rough, no nonsense man. But the narrator didn't find a person like as he was said. Rather, the narrator found was one of the most human beings. Human means showing kindness towards people and animals. That is caring. Human being. Then the narrator also said that he had never ever met a person like Mr. Chaudhary in his life. So this is it for today. Hope you all like this video. If you like, do like, share, subscribe.